Yema are back with another reissue of their most famous dive watch, their most historic dive watch, the Superman. However, there's a little bit of a twist here. This is a Swiss edition. So this is not using one of their French movements. This is using a Swiss movement. And I have one hands-on to show you guys. So let's flip the camera and take a hands-on look at the latest Yema dive watch, the Swiss Yema Superman. This is Yema's latest release. It is the Swiss Superman. So they've made many different versions of the Superman, but this is a very true reissue of their 1970s 530016. And it gets all the expected bells and whistles that you would get from a Superman. They've made other versions of this with their in-house movement. This one has a Sellita SW200. It's made and manufactured in Bezel, Switzerland. That's why they're calling this the Swiss edition. It gets a very straightforward design, except for one thing that is different about the Superman from most other dive watches. It's that locking mechanism that you have at the 3 o'clock position that basically locks in when you screw that crown in. So when you set that bezel, it locks in place. You cannot move it. So this cannot be moved right now because it's locked in place. You get a 120 click bezel with a 60-minute aluminum insert. So it's a very straightforward dive watch, but again, you get that special functionality that you don't see from many other watches. This gets a very straightforward black dial. You have printed on indices. You have a triangle at the 12 o'clock on that dial. Right below that, you have the Yema logo. Right below that, it says Yema Superman. Then you have the hand stack. Right below that, right above the 6 o'clock, it says automatic. And then 990 feet or 300 meters of water resistance, because this gets 300 meters of water resistance in all stainless steel. So you're getting a stainless steel bezel, case, crown, case back, and bracelet. The hand stack, you're getting that arrow, that large arrow that you get with the Superman for that minute's hand. It is somewhat segmented, and then you have a fence post hand for the hour hand. And of course, you have that shovel seconds hand, which has just a little bit of color in it, just a little bit of red. And it is very large, so it is loomed as well. All the hands are loomed. All of those printed on indices are loomed, and you have a loomed pip in the bezel, and they are pretty liberally applied with loom. We will do a loom shot towards the end of the video. They're making this in two different sizes, a 39 millimeter and a 41 millimeter. This is the 39 millimeter. So it measures in at 39.3 millimeters if you include the locking mechanism. If you don't, it measures in at around 38.5 millimeters at the bezel. So if you split the difference, basically a 39 millimeter watch. You have a 12.9 millimeter thickness. That's including that boxed, slightly domed sapphire crystal, very vintage looking. And then you have a 48.8 millimeter lug to lug. That's on the bracelet or a strap, because you do get female end links on this multi-link bracelet. So this is a 5-link bracelet. You have 2 links down the center of the bracelet. It feels really nice. It's actually pretty thin. I would say it's a pretty thin bracelet, which I like because it wears very close to the wrist. The only complaint I would have is that it does not have on-the-fly micro adjust, but you do get 4 positions of manual micro adjust. It's a pretty basic clasp. You do have their logo that's embossed into the clasp. It looks good. It's very functional, but I just wish that they put a little bit of on-the-fly micro adjust, as they have done with some of their other watches. Bezel action, all you need to do is unscrew this crown right here. Once you do, you can see that little mechanism start moving around. Then you could move the bezel and then lock it into position wherever you want it locked in. And you do that by just screwing in the crown. Very simple, very easy to use, but gives you a very secure bezel for when you're diving. On my wrist today, I have a limited edition Timex that was in collaboration with Hodinkee, a watch that I really love. I think it just looks really good. I love the strap on it. It's not really a dive watch. It can only get 100 meters of water resistance and doesn't have a sapphire crystal. It gets a really cheap 8 series Miata movement inside, but I really like the aesthetic of this watch, and I got it for a great price. And there is the Yema on my 7.5-inch wrist. 39 millimeter watch, 48.8 millimeter lug to lug, 12.9 millimeter thickness. It looks like a vintage Yema on my wrist, but obviously it is a thoroughly modern watch. You get that sapphire crystal and of course that Sellita SW200 stainless steel. It just looks really good. It's a very good looking vintage inspired watch. And there is the lume. Like I was saying before, you have that triangle that is fully lumed and you get that for orientation in the dark. And again, that bezel pip is also lumed. All of the hands are lumed, very liberally applied. All of the indices as well that are painted onto that dial, very liberally applied with lume. Looks really good and lasts pretty long. Price on this watch is $1,190. That is on the more expensive side, but you are getting a heritage dive watch that is Swiss made, manufactured and assembled in Bezel, Switzerland. You're getting that Sellita SW200. So I think it's definitely worth it. The only thing I would say is I wish there was a little bit of on the fly micro adjust. I always say that when I see a clasp that doesn't have it, because at this price point, I think it probably warrants it. But with that being said, if you like this watch, if you like the vintage aesthetic, there's really no other brands out there offering a reissue watch like this from a heritage brand that is that affordable. So I use the word affordable again, $1,190. Some people will not agree with me, some people will, but you know, it is affordable when you think about the heritage and what you're actually getting, I guess, right? So that's really it, guys. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the Superman in general? I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel and I very much appreciate it. I will put a link to this watch down in the description below. The 39 millimeter or the 41 millimeter, both are the same price. I will put a link to this watch directly on their website down below. Definitely check it out if you are interested. That's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. I will catch you guys in the next video.